Hello, and welcome to the Don't You Know I'm Local podcast. We're three cousins looking to break generational curses by sharing our mental health and healing journeys. Join me, Candy, Lisa, and
Rene.
as we talk about
The things we're not supposed to talk about.
Hi,
Hello,
guys.
everyone.
Welcome back to our channel. We have a very special guest. Today, we have Dr. Kristi Kanel. Hey!
It's been around a year, correct?
No, I think it's been at least 2 years.
Has it?
Maybe a year, maybe a
I
year
believe
and a
it's been
half?
2 years.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yes.
How
But I'm
exciting.
back.
Yes. For those of you that
Yeah.
are listening and not watching, like I said, Dr. Kristi's back.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you back.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm here
Just
I'm
happy
here
to
in this
see
town
you.
to see
Yeah.
Paul McCartney
Yeah.
tonight, actually. So that's a huge thing for me to get to go do.
Wow. I love the top. It's
Well,
perfect.
speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be.
There you go.
You
Yeah.
know, and that fits in with our topic today,
Yeah.
trauma, letting it be.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah.
Let it go, let it be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, Dr. Kristi, what have you been up to since the last time?
Well, you know, still teaching at Cal State Fullerton.
Okay.
And working on the academic senate, still teaching Zumba,
Ooh.
teaching at the gym,
How
teaching silver
fun.
sneakers,
How
been to Greece, been to Italy,
Oh, wow.
been to Florida, and good to go see Paul McCartney, like I said.
Oh, how
Got a
exciting.
grandson coming on the way, so
Congratulations.
I've got all that fun
Congratulations.
stuff happening. Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah.
Wow. How
Okay.
exciting.
Cool.
For
It
those of you who don't know Dr. Kristi, what's wrong with you? Go back to her original episode, which is actually a 2-part episode and is still to date our most viewed video.
Mhm.
Oh, that's good to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Important stuff. Veterans and Latinos. I mean,
yeah.
those are big draws. Those are my
Mhm.
specialties that I've really done a lot of research and
Yeah.
publications and
Uh-huh.
and worked with as a therapist. You know, I'm a clinician, and so I've done a lot of work with those populations, kind of,
Mhm.
and trauma in general.
Mhm.
That's kind of been my
Yeah.
focus over the last 40 some years, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of that when you're a
Wow.
therapist
Yeah.
Yes.
to
Mhm.
work with. You know.
Yeah. In one of my chapters this week in one of my classes, they brought up familialismo, and I thought of you because I was like, oh, I remember that was the first time I had
Yes.
heard
I
it
heard
was
it
when
too.
you talked about it.
Familismo, yeah,
Uh-huh.
meaning the focus on
Mhm.
family
Mhm.
above all else. And that's
Mhm.
a real important cultural construct for people
Mhm.
whose background is Latino.
Mhm.
That's like the crux of everything. Family's
Mhm.
the most important thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it plays into trauma too.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
the inability to speak about trauma
Oh
Mhm.
my God.
because
Yeah.
of loyalty to the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in school right now? I was wondering what
Yes.
class you're taking.
Right now I'm taking cultural diversity for counseling.
Oh,
I
okay.
switched my major from accounting to human services.
Are you at UNLV?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
we're doing the same.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's
the
good.
Yeah.
I know that
Major.
class because, you know, I'm
Mhm.
from the Department of Human
Yeah.
Services
Yeah,
too at Cal State
uh-huh.
Fullerton. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear you all are
Yes.
taking those
definitely.
classes.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, it definitely helps not only with learning it in general, but with my own journey as well. Because it's like
Mhm.
the actual
Yes.
textbook of it, and it's like, oh, I understand why
Yeah.
now. You know,
It's so
Yeah.
true.
kind of
That's
thing.
why I like human services, like over psychology for people going into the field of counseling.
Mhm.
There's much more self-reflection,
Yeah.
much more focus on you working on you. And then you bring your growth from your classes you've reflected on, you bring
Mhm.
that as a counselor or social worker to others. Your growth becomes part of your skill
Okay.
set, who you are.
Yeah.
So who you are as a person is your biggest resource
Yeah.
Mhm.
compared to just memorizing a
Yeah.
bunch of theories
Yeah.
and research.
Mhm.
You bring in stuff because that's what you offer people, that connection. I'm much more into the connection
Yeah.
and how
Yes.
that creates trust and a sense of belonging and a sense of people being willing to open up.
Mhm.
Like collaboration, right?
It's much more of that.
Yeah.
And a connectedness as human. And nowadays, I think you'll agree, we need human connection
Yeah.
more than
Oh, yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've become so isolated because of the pandemic and
Yeah.
social
Mhm.
media
Yeah.
Mhm.
that this connectedness is paramount
Yeah.
for people opening up and really being able to work on things
Mhm.
that are difficult for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I know I purposely found I wanted to go down. Lisa and Rene have both gone into EMDR.
Oh, yes.
And so I myself have started IFS. And when I was looking for a therapist, I specifically looked for Latina therapists because I was like, I know this is a very vulnerable place and I want somebody that's going to understand. And there's so many things that her and I connect with that I'm like, oh my God, it just feels like I'm hanging out with one of my cousins and like talking. So definitely, I definitely understand what you're saying there. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So yes, we've been doing EMDR. We have the same therapist. He's
amazing.
Military.
Yeah, it's through the
and
kind of through the VA, right? No, but it's not.
No.
I don't know.
He's
It's free.
through the National Guard. He's
Where
through
is
the
it?
National Guard.
It's through the National Guard. I'm really glad to hear they're doing EMDR.
Oh my
It's been,
goodness.
I've been doing that since the 90s when Francine Shapiro first came up with it because hypnotherapy was always my specialty, of course, doing trauma work. So I'm trained in like multiple forms of hypnotherapy and that is so fast.
Wow.
For a
It
one-time
is
event,
very fast.
I found it's useful a little bit, but for complex trauma and PTSD, maybe a little bit more is needed, but it is real. I found it super useful for a one-time trauma.
It really is
Yes.
life-changing.
It's
totally
useful.
like transformed my brain. Like I
So it's like that
process things differently.
traffic jam is cleared up.
Exactly.
Well, people don't understand that when there's trauma, there is a change in the amygdala in the brain. Actually happens. It stops. It freezes when there's trauma. And so
when you have multiple, it's like, so you're just always constantly, it looks like you're like in the air almost, like you're kind of like looking around. But then when this happened, I'm like, I'm able to focus more and it's amazing.
because we're opening up the connection between the emotions and the cognitions, which are thoughts.
So much more.
Cognitions are thoughts.
The
So
frontal lobe, right?
the left brain and the right brain meet where the emotions meet the thinking part. And that's where it starts freezing when there's trauma. So that's what EMDR does. It kind of helps those things blend and integrate and see things more appropriately than just frozen position.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is like, we're feeling the same way. I mean, she's doing the
IFS.
Oh, okay.
However, there's a lot of similarities to it. And even when she talks about her therapist, we're just like, what else did she say this week? Because she's so good.
Yeah.
But
Rene and I always say that we feel like our brain stopped growing after our trauma. Like we sometimes feel like we have a mind of a child in certain aspects. And so to learn some of
Emotionally,
this,
I think the most.
especially emotionally, but like learning
And interpersonally.
Yeah.
But it's only for the same, it's a certain type of interpersonal. Like you could be interpersonal with peers or other people, but when it's the connection to who you were traumatized with, then that is what gets triggered out in the world when there's that transference, when there's that replay of that similar type of object. I don't know. Have you talked about object relations with your therapist at all?
That sounds like a future episode.
No, but we'll write it down.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we jumped into that. We're just so excited that you're here. But let's get into challenges because, side note, for those of you out there, we actually thought about maybe getting rid of challenges, but because of Dr. Kristi, we decided to keep it because she had let us know that that's something that she really liked. So we're like, okay, we're going to keep challenging.
Well, I'm curious, what would make you not want to cover challenges if I weren't here? Like, just what is your thoughts about this?
Well, I think we were just like, oh, is it like important? Is it something? But when you said that it was like relatable, we were like, you know what? It's true because our audience has challenges and
Everybody has challenges.
And so I think it just to keep it as like, you know what? We're going through this. We're going through therapy. We're going through all this. We have challenges every week, And
sometimes it's okay to like,
it's okay
mess
to
up.
let everybody know, I'm struggling with this. You know what? I look like I have everything put together, but I don't, So just a little side note that I wanted to put that, we had thought about maybe not doing challenges or doing something else, but because of you, we've kept that.
So in terms of like how it's universal, everybody has challenges in life. How do you differentiate between challenge and trauma, stress and trauma, that kind of thing? Because there is normal challenge that
Yeah.
everybody has to face. And not
Oh, yeah.
everything is a trauma, because the difference has to do with expected things that you can, pretty much expect stress and trauma or challenge to happen throughout your life. Like, it's not unexpected that when maybe your first child goes to kindergarten, you would feel stressed out. That's not a real trauma or unexpected, but it is a challenge or a trauma when something happens you don't expect.
Yes.
Like, you're walking around town and, some masked person comes and grabs you and throws you down on the sidewalk and carries you off. That's kind of not expected.
Yeah.
And our brain can't handle that.
Yeah.
Or that a illness is going to happen that requires you to stay home and you can't go out and see everybody like you used to. That's not expected. That's more than just a challenge. That moves it into trauma.
Yeah.
And your age too determines if something's traumatic or not. Remember, when you're younger, you don't have realistic expectations, or you don't have knowledgeable expectations. You don't have resources inside built already. You don't have resilience built. So you're less able to cope with what might be challenges or stressors when you're younger, because you don't understand things.
Yeah.
As an adult, you kind of do understand things. And so you can handle things maybe just a little bit better because you've been used to dealing with things. So all of that is built into difference between challenge and trauma.
Damn.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, you go to the store, you want something, they don't have it. You're probably not going to throw a tantrum and cry because you didn't get what you wanted. But a 3-year-old might, or 2-year-old, because they don't have the experience and the resilience to handle that.
Right.
Or I had a client once who she was so mad at her mother because her mother didn't let her run across the park grass barefoot when she was 5 years old. So as a 5-year-old, that felt like mother hated me. Mother doesn't love me because she was mean to me. She wouldn't let me do something so carefree. So when I brought her mother in to find what was that about, she says, well, where we live, that park, a lot of people were shooting up drugs in the park, and there were a lot of syringes in the grass. And I didn't feel comfortable allowing my daughter to run through the grass barefoot. There could be syringes anywhere. And the daughter just went, whoa, that blew her mind. So we reframed it. In fact, your mother, this is evidence that your mother was a good mother. She did that to protect you and you should have seen her mind completely flip with that reframe.
I can see that happening.
Mother loving her instead of being mean to her. That repaired their relationship almost instantaneously.
Makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah. It makes you think,
It's
like,
real.
like, why as an adult wouldn't I ask my mom? That's the way that I'm looking at it. Like, Mom, how come you didn't let me do this? And she would have said, this is why. And it's like, you held this like resentment for your mother for all this time, and if you just had the tools to be like, let me ask you, you would have saved yourself the trouble of the turbulence in the relationship. Oh, wow.
Sometimes it's difficult to speak frankly and honestly with your parents.
It is.
Yeah.
You're afraid to ask them things.
Yeah.
You don't know that they'll get mad. We assume our parents can't handle things.
Yeah.
And maybe she thought her mother wouldn't be able to handle something. And I've always told my clients, look, your parents have been through the assassination of a president, assassination of Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, the Vietnam War, AIDS. Your parents have been through a lot of stuff. They can probably handle some things you don't think they can handle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Your children don't know their parents very well.
Yeah. I found myself learning more and asking more as an adult now. Like, the other day, for instance, my dad was telling me a story about when he was a kid, and like my dad lived in Mexico, and his dad sent him to a place, like another city where our family was at, but he sent him on the bus, and he got there at like 10 o'clock at night. There was nobody there to basically receive him. So he had to figure out at 11 years old what to do at 11 years old in the middle of nowhere, what to do. And then by chance, somebody ended up driving into the city, knowing where his family lived, and drove him there. But
Gosh.
it's little things like that I don't know, and it's like, no, I need to ask these things because it'll make me understand
Mhm.
why my parents are the way that they are.
It's scary.
Or yeah, very
Mhm.
scary. I'm like, that's trauma
Yeah.
at such a young age.
Yeah.
And I know there's so many more
so
stories.
many more stories.
Yeah.
Well, I've personally not told my son
Mhm.
a lot about my childhood traumas or things
Mhm.
that were challenges for me as a
Mhm.
child.
Mhm.
I didn't want to burden him
Yeah.
Mhm.
with that stuff. I want him to have a clear life, and I want him to focus on him
Yeah.
developing. I mean, we've talked some about his childhood,
Mhm.
Mhm.
trying to clear his childhood for him.
Mhm.
I didn't really want to dump my stuff onto him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think maybe a lot of parents don't
think
want to
so.
dump their
Yeah.
childhood
Mhm.
So.
onto
Yeah.
their children. So,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
if he asks me, I'm more than happy to tell him. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
he's never really asked me about stuff.
Yeah.
He wanted to know about my
Mhm.
dad who was in World War II.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of interested in that,
Ooh.
Yeah.
that
interesting.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I don't have much to tell. My dad
Mhm.
basically told me, my dad, I think I told you before, he's a Marine who went into the Pacific.
Whoa.
And basically the only thing he told me was, "Oh, I got shot at and hit in the back, the butt, but I was running across a beautiful green field and a bullet just happened to hit me." That was pretty much
Cute.
the end of it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
He didn't want to burden
Exactly.
Yeah.
me with his stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm. But I think it's important though, because I feel like we had a author, Prisca Dorcas Mojica Rodriguez, on. She's my favorite author on, and she's a storyteller. And I feel like it's important for us to learn our parents' stories because they essentially die with them, right? If we
Yes.
don't know these stories, like your your son asking about his grandfather, it's very limited information.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's family history that we should try to hold on to.
He's very interested now
Yeah.
because he's into
Yeah.
being, I'm half Greek. My grandparents were from Greece, so he
Okay.
loves that
Yeah.
culture.
Uh-huh.
So he's really into that right
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Developing it, naming his son. He wants to, next son wants to be like Alexander, Augustus. And I'm like, hold on. That's like really, that might be a bit too much, right?
Yeah.
But, so no, he's really into that now.
Yeah.
So, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But-
Wow.
And I do know the history like that, but trauma is a little different than knowing cultural traditions.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but,
Oh.
so challenges are part of life. I mean, is there anybody in the world who's never experienced a challenge or
No.
a stressful situation?
I don't know anyone.
Was there anybody not affected by COVID, the pandemic?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anybody who's not affected by the racial unrest, the social unrest that's been happening for the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think lately our challenges have been in regards to what's going on now, especially in the Latino community with ICE and just racial profiling in general. It's just very challenging, but also traumatic, right?
Mhm.
Because I know I found myself worried about my parents when they go to California. Like, please take your passport. Please, be careful.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't control those things, so you kind of just have to be like, okay, here's my suggestion, and that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I'm
crazy how
told.
it turns around, huh?
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Well, I'm basically
Like
told
that,
if
yeah.
they come to my classroom, I have to let them in
Wow.
because we can't lock it. That's obstruction of justice. So
Yeah.
if they ask me for my DACA students, I'm to say I'm not allowed to give you that information. Call this person and just be polite. And if they want to tie my hands back, sit there and let them and politely allow them to do whatever they need to do. So I'm
Wow.
prepared.
Mhm.
And that's important that we
Yeah.
are prepared,
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
earthquake preparedness.
Mhm.
Have an earthquake kick, you're prepared, and so you expect, you're prepared, that reduces likelihood of trauma happening, and you just are prepared to handle whatever challenges come to your way. And
Wow.
I mean, I'm not happy about
Mm.
things. Just like with the pandemic, we're prepared. Wear a mask, clean your hands, social distance. If you get it, there's medicine. You go to the doctor or you take the vaccination to prepare against any severe symptoms. So you try to do things when things might happen out of your control,
Mhm.
to prepare as best you can. And
Yeah.
that's what we can do as adults
Mhm.
to build up our resilience to handle things so that we aren't
Yeah.
caught off
Mhm.
guard with some horrible trauma happening.
Mhm.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's ever thinking, oh, it won't happen to me. I mean, that's what people think nowadays. It
Mhm.
won't happen to me until it does happen
Until
to
it
you.
does, yeah.
Or I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get it tomorrow. I'll get the water tomorrow, and it's like, no, get it now. Be prepared now.
Be ready now.
So be ready now.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
kind of brings the
Yeah.
temperature down a little bit when we talk like this. I can feel
Uh-huh.
a little bit more down. We're a little bit down now. So
Mhm.
that bringing that up, it did something physiologically to us.
Mhm.
So remember,
Mhm.
trauma has a huge biological component. So I can feel in myself, and perhaps you can, it's triggering inside of us.
Yeah,
that
like I feel
physiological.
so tight right now.
Yeah, we're physiologically affected by
Mhm.
talking about this
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's something it's not from our past.
Mhm.
It's present.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you find it maybe a little easier now that you've been in therapy to address traumas from your past. It's a little easier
Mhm.
than processing this current stuff going on.
Oh, that's so true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Keeps me up at night.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
maybe your previous trauma kept you up at night too.
Yes.
When you start thinking of, when you first start working on childhood trauma, it can bring you up at night. And when that happens, you go into a full crisis mode. And that's typically when you'll go see a therapist.
Mhm.
I believe all therapy starts with crisis intervention.
Mhm.
Mm.
That you deal with it, you cope with it as best you can, and then when you can't cope anymore, you will go see a mental health professional,
Mhm.
and then the professional has to assess what's triggered you to come in.
Mhm.
Something's triggered you. Maybe you just can't cope with the childhood trauma anymore.
Mhm.
Maybe something's happened in your life that you need to cope with, and man, you're depleted, so you need a little professional help
Mhm.
to process some of that stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mhm.
Wow.
Deep thought already, Dr.
Yeah.
Kristi. Do you guys want to share any challenges, or do you want to get into? Should we get into childhood trauma? Or
Lise?
No, let's get into it.
Yeah, we can get
Alright.
into it.
all right. Childhood trauma. The impact of childhood trauma. The CDC and Kaiser Permanente surveyed 17,000 of the health plan's members to ask whether they'd had adverse childhood experiences, defined as abuse, physiological, physical or sexual, neglect, emotional, physical, household challenges, family member experiencing domestic abuse, mental illness, or imprisonment. The landmark study found that with adverse childhood experiences were at higher risk of heart, lung, and liver disease, obesity,
Mhm.
diabetes, depression, and substance abuse.
Yeah.
The study also found nearly 2/3 of those surveyed experienced at least one event. The higher the score on a survey, the more likely people were to be in poor health.
Damn.
They call those ACE, right? ACEs? Yeah.
Adverse childhood experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the biological is connected to the psychological. We,
Yeah.
especially with trauma, we know that there is
Mhm.
changes in the physiology when you are impacted with these kinds of trauma,
Mhm.
and that's why the CDC for years used to be allowed to study this.
Mhm.
Used to.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Mhm.
It almost brings tears to my eyes
Yeah.
that this kind of thing is not being allowed to be researched and looked at anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not sure why this is so political.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah.
political. It's
Mhm.
human
Human.
beings.
Exactly.
So I'm
Oh my
not sure
gosh.
This is
Mhm.
bettering
why this
us.
is such a difficult
helping
thing.
us.
Mhm.
Why people wouldn't want this studied. I'm not sure what that means to people who don't want it studied.
Mhm.
I
But
don't know.
some people don't want this looked at. And
Mhm.
it's important to look at this because
Mhm.
so many of the things that we're look at, like mass shootings and
Mhm.
things that affect community,
Mhm.
are related to this.
Yeah.
Do you think those mass shooters come from homes come from the nun?
Nope.
Mm-mm. No.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm. So we have a pie chart here that says the number of adverse childhood experiences. 36.1% said none. 26% said one. 15.9% said two. 9.5% said three. And 12.5% said four or more.
4 or more.
Crazy.
And we know by studying veterans,
Mhm.
we know that four deployments, that is the highest rate of PTSD, depression, and suicidal and anger
Wow.
coming back. So 4 ACEs, that increases PTSD and to the max, right? And people like that are just living in a dissociated state. They're not connecting emotionally to others. They're alienated. They're depressed. They're angry. They are the ones that are struggling the most. And if they're not out getting professional help,
Oh my gosh.
They're gonna let it out.
and they're made to feel like ashamed,
Yeah.
buck up. Oh, get over it. And
Man
it's
up.
really hard to get over things like this when especially because there's a physiological component to it. You can't just tell people, oh, quit thinking about it. You have to process it first, and then we can let it be.
Yeah.
Then we might be able to let it go.
Gosh, but it's so hard because it's happening. Like the opposite. Like we want to be like that, but now it's going back to the
Man
you
up.
know, the
type
man
thing?
up, the
To the what?
Like man up. Like the
Oh.
new administration is well, like when Pete Hegseth did his
Yeah,
speech
he
the
did
other
his
day, it was just
speech.
like let's man up kind of stuff. I'm
yeah,
like, what?
getting rid of all the
EO complaints
and all the oh my gosh.
We can have a whole
Yeah.
different conversation about that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always have to breathe because I don't want to think things and say things that don't fit with my normal sense of identity, my appropriate identity. I get really triggered into some things, feeling some things that I really don't like that I feel. So I go back to breathe and think, what would Jesus feel? That man that I think of as Jesus, how would he be wanting me to feel? How can I feel?
Need those deep breaths.
What?
We need those deep breaths.
Yes, we do.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
A
it
lot
really gets
lately.
me sad inside.
Yeah.
When I think about that, I am feeling very sad for a lot of people in this country, in my neighbors, people I know. I'm very sad about things going on right now.
Damn.
And, I have a lot of privilege, but I don't have complete privilege. I have second best privilege because being a woman, I don't carry full privilege. And this Project 2025 wants to make sure that my privilege goes way down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm very worried about that.
Same
I've spent
here.
my entire career increasing female privilege. And they're starting to chip away at that.
And he just said it yesterday, right? Was it yesterday that he's gonna consult with like the guy that runs the Project 2025? He finally came out. That's insane. But I do have a question about the military and trauma.
Okay.
Knowing like Lisa and I's story, we're both veterans and we suffered trauma like when we were kids. Is there any like kind of study that people with trauma join the military?
Oh, no, that I don't have information, but I do know that when you have experienced trauma from the military, that if you had trauma as a child, it increases your likelihood to have angry trauma, angry PTSD, aggression. So aggression is highly related to veterans who had childhood abuse and trauma. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but that is the research that I know about. I don't know if people who are traumatized join the military per se, but I do know that, people join the military potentially as a way to have identity,
That's
to feel like they belong.
That's why I joined.
And because some join because they want to do service. They're patriotic and they want to feel like they're contributing to society. But the same thing for being therapists. Do people become therapists because they had childhood trauma? Yeah. But if you look at the statistics on your pie chart, we're looking at 66% of people experience childhood trauma. So
that's crazy.
It's not uncommon. And so what kind of occupation would that other 36% go into?
I don't even know.
And
Oh my gosh.
I do want to say something about this. This is self-reported. So I know statistics, other statistics about family dysfunction. Family dysfunction doesn't always include physical abuse, total psychological abuse, sexual abuse, neglect. Family dysfunction can include other kinds of psychological processes, observing parents, being in schism, meaning they fight all the time, but it's not domestic violence, people not speaking, people drinking, drugging, other kinds of dysfunctions that might not be on this chart. So the mental health community research puts family dysfunction at 84%.
Oh my gosh.
Which means about only 16% of people come from what we consider healthy, functional families.
That's wild.
So I wanted to add that on to
Thank you.
this pie chart.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's important.
But it is important because as a therapist, of course, I would say that 80% of my clients came from abusive families. Okay, so they're the ones who are abused families. Yes, it's a disproportionate amount going to therapy, of course. But then there's quite a few who come in, didn't necessarily come from abuse, but dysfunctional families, often because the marriage is dysfunctional. And then that creates a dysfunctional family. So a lot of that. So then who goes into what occupation? I mean, you pick me an occupation where there's not people that aren't going where there's no dysfunction. Where do healthy people go work? Give me an example.
Very good question. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Brain surgeons, maybe?
brain surgeon. Yes, you hope your brain surgeon is super healthy.
Yeah.
Although, actually, my son's neurosurgeon was really healthy. I liked him a lot. So you might be right. A pediatric neurosurgeon, he seemed really healthy to me.
Okay,
But
good.
my own surgeon, when I had my ankle broke, he was on the exspectrum. But I wanted him. That made him better.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because he was like one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
And then his PA, his physician assistant, he's the one I talked to.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes all kinds. I don't judge anybody based on where they come from. It takes all kinds. And we know that now. To think that, people are all healthy and great, find me somebody. Like I said, maybe Jesus. I don't know. Who else can you think of? Jane Goodall?
Oh,
I love her.
R.I.P.
She just passed,
Yeah.
But, Jane Goodall, what a wonderful woman. Maybe she was so healthy. That's why she had to go spend her life with chimpanzees.
Right. That's a great idea.
So I'm trying to think of other people that I can place in my mind who fit that bill.
Oh my
Gandhi?
gosh.
Gandhi?
That's who exactly popped in my head. Too.
I don't know.
Can
you think of
Maybe.
other people?
No.
Not at the top of my head right now.
It's hard to think who you revere, who you really look up to as a person that you see as that never that just knows and has this essence about them.
Yeah.
Well, as
Now,
soon as
maybe you
say-
can get there through therapy.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
through personal growth and reflection,
Yeah.
we move towards that. That's just the whole point of counseling and self-growth and personal growth groups and reading and listening. I think you can grow and move into that. I firmly believe that, or I wouldn't be in this field.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think anybody can grow and move past childhood trauma.
Yeah.
That's the good news.
Mhm.
You can
Yes.
move past it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can face it, embrace it, and then you can let it go and utilize it to help you through the rest of your life be the best kind of person you want to be. I firmly believe that.
Mhm.
Yes, we are examples of that.
Yeah.
Work in
Because
progress.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's crazy how we all have the same initial story of going in there thinking this is going to be mumbo jumbo stuff,
Mhm.
blinking and moving.
Oh, that's what you
and
thought
all the
EMDR
stuff.
was?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll see what happens. And
Do they know what that is? Eye movement desensitization reprocessing. Does your audience already know
okay.
about
We
that?
did
Okay.
We did do,
I just
we
like to-
redid it.
Okay. All right. Just want to
Yeah.
make sure that
Yeah.
people knew.
Yeah, it was.
There's our picture.
Oh, how cute.
The pink shirt.
on our screen, which we'll put up here as well, we have a picture of each of us. And today on the
Cute.
set, we decided to dress as the same as the pictures that we
That's
have
so
on the
cute.
screen.
Yeah, you're wearing it, yeah.
Yeah, but and
Uh,
that's like a jumpsuit. That's like a velvet jumpsuit that I have. I was like, ooh, cute. I know. Lisa has a polka dot shirt, and Rene has a pink polo, just like in the picture.
I remember the skirt too. Was like, it was
Yeah.
like real. I remember sitting down. And it was like my skirt.
what grade were you guys in? Or how old were you guys in that picture?
There, I had to been in like second or third grade, and the
Second or
only
third.
reason why I know is because I have one of those ID bracelets. And I love that because it was like jewelry. Remember those papers that they would send for the ID bracelet?
Oh,
Like you would,
yeah.
and that one had a cat and a dog on it.
Is this 80s?
Yeah,
This is
Yeah.
80s.
Because I'm thinking of those
Amazing.
skirts. We used to wear those
Uh-huh.
kind of full
Yeah.
80s skirts.
yeah.
Of
Mhm.
course, I was a full grown adult in the 80s. But
Well, how old are you guys in these pictures?
I think I'm 10. I want to say
Okay.
that's sixth grade.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
8.
Yeah.
I was 8
And this
years
is
old.
around the time my trauma
Yeah.
happened.
Mhm.
So is it?
Mhm.
Yeah, when stuff started happening.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's why we wore it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Which is when I see that now, I mean, you ready for me to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
Yeah.
I always have that habit of busting up the happy mood.
Nope.
But,
That's why we wanted
That's why
to
we-
do
yeah.
this episode with you
Yeah,
here.
because we thought about doing this on our own, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, we all agreed, like, no, we need somebody here.
so
Yeah.
I look at
Professional.
children
Mhm.
and I think, oh, it's innocent, cute little sweet children,
Mhm.
And like I said, when a trauma happens to a child like this, it's very different
Mhm.
than you weren't adults when this happened to you. You weren't
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And so they process it and think about it differently than you do.
Mhm.
And I used to do that when I'd go pick my son up from kindergarten.
Mhm.
I would, they'd all, some of them would go running to their parents. He didn't. He just like walking. And I'm like, why doesn't he run to me? Well, he doesn't need to.
Mhm.
That's stability. That's security.
Mm.
Right. And then I'd
Mhm.
see the other ones standing there, not wanting to go to their parent.
Mhm.
And I'd be looking at them. They're not smiling or happy. And I start to wonder, what are they walking home to?
Mm.
Knowing the
Oh, that's
statistics
so
like I do.
sad.
Yeah.
Oof.
Right. And then you look at children, and then I would work a lot with children who were abused. Right. That was my whole practice, was abused children, women that were raped, women that were abused and
Mm.
physically abused
Mhm.
by their spouses.
Mhm.
It's a good portion of my clientele for, I would say, at least 20 years.
Wow.
And so you start to look at children and think, oh my gosh, these children were abused, and they come in to see me and they are craving an appropriate adult.
Mhm.
Mm.
I remember to one girl, all I had to do when they were leaving is say, bye, sweetie, see you next week. And she came running and hugged me and says, no one's ever called me sweetie before.
Oh, wow.
Like, are you kidding? I would say that to a child in the bank.
Yeah.
I would call all children sweetie, right?
Yeah.
I see you're already starting to tear
Oh,
up.
that.
What happened for you when I just said that?
No, just seeing, like, I see kids all the time, and I'm just, I'm constantly praying and stuff, but like seeing the statistics and everything, and knowing the stuff I've gone through, and I see other kids, and I'm just like, how many of these kids have gone through this, or or just your story is just, it's just so touching and so
But it triggered
relatable.
something in your own little girl
Mhm.
up there
Mm.
that
Yeah.
your inner child that was abused or traumatized somehow felt some of those feelings and would have loved to have had somebody, an appropriate adult, just let you be a child
Yeah.
and just love you unconditionally. That's such a craving for traumatized children. And so perhaps it triggered that inner child in you who just would have loved to, that sense of an adult hugging you and making you feel cherished. Because isn't that what children need, is to feel cherished and
Yes.
safe?
Safe and security.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
And I feel so honored and privileged that you would let yourself go there here with me and with everybody. It's a treasure and it's a privilege, and it's such a giving thing to give to others, your emotions like that, and sharing that with others, because now somebody else will share that with you.
Yeah.
And every time that you experience that, that's what I've talked about, face and embrace. It's yours. Be that. That's you. Those are your feelings, and you have every right to those. It's part of who you are. We don't want to get rid of that. That makes you you. You're a human being.
Yeah.
You can relate. You have human emotions. It's just a part of your life, but it wasn't your whole life. Just a part of your life.
Yeah.
And a very short part of your life, relatively speaking, to the amount of life you don't have to experience that kind of trauma.
That's incredible. It's incredible to see the other side of it, of healing from it and being able to say, okay, it happened to me. That's not me, you know? And for years and years and years, I not pretended, but I just blocked it out that anything happened to me. I was living in this like perfect bubble that, you know, I'm trying to do everything the best way I can and doing the right things. And I'm just holding it together. You know, there's.
I can see you right now holding it together. What happens if you relax and let yourself just be? Can you breathe through that and just be with you? You don't have to hold yourself together right now. We're all here. We're here to hold space for you. And that's what people need who've been traumatized. They need to be around people who hold space for you to be you. We're holding you. As human beings, we need to link, connect, and hold space for each other and be with each other. That's what we need in this. It's a humanistic philosophy.
Yeah.
And we really need that now. We need to connect in a human way, because I feel AI has a purpose. Social media has a purpose, but I think it's also been traumatic, and it's created us to have more and more anxiety and depression and difficulties and moving further away from people. So when you experience yourself like that, connecting with others is really special and important. And then we benefit too. I don't know how you're feeling that she shared with you right now.
Yeah.
What did that do for you?
I've definitely seen so much growth in her. Even her being vulnerable right now is a big, like, I'm so proud of her for being vulnerable, because it's hard to be vulnerable, especially on, you know, a podcast like this, right? Because I feel like when we first started, Lisa was very like closed, and now her being so open and being vulnerable on here just goes to show like how much work she's put in and how hard she's fighting for herself. You know, she's putting herself first, and I'm very proud of her. And even the last time you were here, Dr. Kristi, I saw something like click in Lisa's like face. Like, I think that's when her journey to really heal and get to the stuff that, like you said, you blocked out. I think that's when it started.
Yeah.
So for you to be here full circle and to see how different she is from the last time, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you for picking this little girl, you know, like it's hard for us to look at these, you know, what we were going through at these times, and nobody knew, you know, we didn't tell anybody because we were scared. And now we're sitting here telling, you know, so many people that we know.
What's it like to hear her say she's proud of you? To hear me say I feel privileged and honored and so feel like it's so close to you and connected to you by sharing. What's that like what is your little girl inside of you hearing and feeling?
A little overwhelmed.
Yeah, and she's crying. And what are those tears? What would they say?
Thank you. Thank you so much for seeing me.
Yeah, we see you.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were there and we knew this was going on for you back then, we would have stepped in and done something, but we can only do something now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we want to just tell you things get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You need to know you're loved
Yeah.
and that people see you as special
Mm-hmm.
and you're connected now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And
You get off of
whoever
me, please.
abused you was really a suffering, ill person and not an appropriate person. And what they did was completely not right. And, and it shouldn't have happened to you, but it did. And it happens to a lot of people because the people who do these things, they have their own stuff that they never dealt with.
Yeah.
And it's just a vicious cycle
Yes.
that goes on until somebody gets professional help
Mm-hmm.
and stops it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I want to say is that the pattern, stopping the pattern, is the power that you now have over this thing that has been going on for a lot of years. We're so lucky now that we can overcome these things. Think about that. In years past, nobody was
gosh.
ever able to talk about
Yeah.
this
Oh
stuff.
my God.
And you wonder why people had all these illnesses and
Yeah.
all these problems.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It almost makes you feel sorry for people in previous generations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That they had to die without ever working through this, without ever telling people.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people coming in 50 years old, first time telling somebody they were abused as a child. It was me. They lived with it all by
Yeah.
That's
themselves.
tough.
That's heavy.
That's
Oh my
rough.
gosh.
It's heavy. And that's
That's
why
really-
with going back to like knowing these things, I know that's something very vulnerable that not many people feel comfortable telling anybody. But I know that things like this have happened to the previous generation.
Mhm.
And it's like it just one after another. We don't talk about these things. We don't, it brings shame to the family when you talk
Mhm.
about these
It
things.
does.
But no, it doesn't, because us talking about it here and us having each other, like we have this common messed up thing that happened to us, but it's brought us so much closer together.
Mhm.
And we've become our support group in this because we've gone through the same thing and we're fighting for our younger selves right now. So it's brought us closer. And I know there's people out there that have experienced this, and it's like, you know what? I have been dealing with this and I'm getting to it now,
Yeah.
And maybe them watching this, like we've said before, they open up about what happens to them too. So
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that this podcast is about, is reaching people to talk about their problems and what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had one client, more than one, but one, they would tell me, oh, it happened to everybody in my pueblo.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was just commonplace. No.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, just because it's maybe normal or typical doesn't make it right.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that the
Does
children
not.
aren't traumatized.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it okay.
Just because something's
No.
culturally somewhat
Mhm.
happens a lot,
Yeah.
like even in American culture, things happen,
Mhm.
doesn't
Yeah.
make it good.
No.
Doesn't mean that it doesn't affect people.
Mhm.
That's almost scarier. That
Yeah.
normal rules make people have emotional disorders.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We call that the monstrous hypothesis.
Monstrous hypothesis.
The monstrous
Okay.
hypothesis is that in order to be mentally healthy, you have to go against the normal rules, because the normal rules create emotional problems or pathology, like in a family.
Mhm.
So if you go against the family rules, that is the only way for you to be healthy.
And we've been doing that.
Oh yeah.
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 We have been doing that.
And you'll
Yeah.
see some
Mhm.
rejection
Mhm.
and resistance
yeah.
from the family.
Mhm.
They often don't want you calling out the reality
Mhm.
Yeah.
because they aren't ready.
Mhm.
It causes them too much shame to face
Yeah.
up to what they've done.
Mhm.
they can't admit it, right?
Yeah.
We used to say some people can't handle the truth
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it would cause them to go in such a profound depression,
Mhm.
such a shame. They almost might
Mhm.
become suicidal
Yeah.
if they had to face their shame.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They wouldn't be able to handle that.
Yeah.
They would disintegrate into
Mhm.
feeling like they didn't exist anymore.
Mhm.
Think about that. It's really scary. And especially if they haven't gone to therapy, you're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
busting open the denial of their defense mechanism and they can't handle it.
Yeah.
That's what
Wow.
you're up against.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you go to therapy to deal with your trauma, the people who did this, they may never be able to admit it. And so if you can't go into it expecting them to apologize or admit it,
Mhm.
that's not the healing process. I've never encouraged my clients to go to their perpetrator, confront them, and demand an apology.
I've done it.
And did you get the apology you wanted?
Yes, but also their character, their what they were doing in life didn't it's like they didn't apologize. Or they did other things like continue the way they went about their life, what led them to do it, right? And I'm hoping like they can change their life, but at this point, like I took the apology, but now I'm just like it was kind of like it was a shallow apology is what I see it. It wasn't like an apology that was meant. It was an apology that, oh yeah, okay, I did it, I admit it, but there was nothing behind it.
Mm.
So it just depends, I guess.
Mhm.
The defenses are pretty deep for perpetrators of abuse.
Yes.
The denial is very strong.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And again, it has to do with identity and shame.
Mhm.
And so that's why they keep the defense up. So yeah, my point exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
To apologize
Yeah.
to somebody who hasn't gone to
Mhm.
therapy and worked it out.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't often encourage that
Yeah.
kind of behavior,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that you can't set boundaries on them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And if you don't feel like you want to be around them, to say, to say, no, I'm
Mhm.
not going to be around you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Or, I'm not comfortable being around you until you get therapy
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
That's-
work on this.
Yeah.
That is something you could do. Or you can just decide in your head, oh, this person is ill, as if they had a mental illness,
Mhm.
and treat them like they're in a patient gown in a mental ward, and not
Mm.
even expect them to have any, how shall I say, deep or adult,
Mhm.
like appropriate interactions with you, and that you would be around them like you would be around a mentally ill person,
Mhm.
just perfunctory, or if you have to be around other members of the family, and just to check in on them as a caretaker and not
Mhm.
see your role as like having a real relationship with them. There may be some people you go to the deathbed or they go to their deathbed and you never resolved or had a real relationship with them,
Mhm.
even though they were related to you.
Mhm.
And sometimes
Oh.
that's just the reality.
Yeah.
If people are so
Mhm.
psychologically dysfunctional,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't have a real relationship with
No.
people like that. You can never be honest with them.
Mhm.
But if you want to have a connection with them, somehow you find a way and you keep it superficial, as it's just enough that there's some bond, but it's not a real bond, and you find your real bonds elsewhere. And this is just because, oh my gosh, we're related by blood. They're mentally ill. It's kind of like if you have a demented parent or spouse or somebody, you never really expect them to be have a real relationship with anymore, but you go there because it does something for you to have some connection. So those are some things that can be done
Mm.
for yourself. Remember though, healing is done within you,
Mhm.
not somebody else doing something or for you.
Mhm.
The healing comes from within
Yeah.
you,
Yes.
letting that little girl know she's loved and sharing it with people who can connect with her and you and make you be seen, heard and accepted, and knowing that you're not alone, that part is bonded and that you bond with other people.
Mhm.
That's way more important than having the perpetrator say, oh yeah, I did it, I'm sorry, and then continue to be it. Are you allowed to say
I needed to hear
AH
that.
word? Do
Oh
you-
yeah, we cuss all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We can cuss on here.
Yeah, Okay, so they might continue to just be assholes in life,
for sure.
Yeah.
right? So But
Mhm.
I mean, hearing the apology might be the best they could do.
Mhm.
That's their first step out of denial.
Mhm.
There's stages to get out of denial.
Yeah.
And you know that from
Mhm.
working on your own trauma.
Yeah.
You didn't just one day open up and say, I know everything.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know.
The
Mhm.
stages to come into understanding yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hearing you talk about boundaries, that's something that I had to do within my family as well. I had to set boundaries with also including my boundaries with my family to let them know, hey, I am removing myself from any interaction with this person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you need to, but I'm telling you, I don't feel
Right.
comfortable with this.
Right.
And
Understand.
if you want me to be there, these are the boundaries that I need you to respect.
Mhm.
And to do that and to ask or to share that with
Mhm.
people is something that it's like, you know what, you couldn't stand up for me when I was little, but you're doing it for me now, and that speaks volumes.
Mhm.
It does.
So it's
Back to familismo too.
Yeah.
You're going against a major cultural tradition
Yeah.
of
Mhm,
familismo,
mhm.
you know?
And for it was my parents that stood up for me and said something, and even being 30 something for them to stand up for me then spoke
Mhm.
volumes, and it just
Wow.
like took a weight off of me, to be like,
Mhm.
this person doesn't believe or isn't owning up to it, but for my parents to say, you know what, we believe you that this happened to you, and we're gonna stand up for you now. Just like it helped the little girl in me to be like,
Good.
look, they're standing up for you. Look at
And she's celebrating right now with those tears,
Mhm.
feeling heard and seen by her own parents, right?
Mhm.
And what a wonderful thing that you could release some more emotion
Yeah.
about that right now
Mhm. Yep. Yeah.
with us and with others. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Renee, you're the only one left not crying. Okay, go.
I've been tearing up. Okay, go.
We still make light of things, Miss Dr. Christy. We still make jokes and laugh when we're uncomfortable.
I know. And,
I
then,
know.
and I have a hard time making jokes
I
about
know,
it
I know.
because I
I
see
I remember
young children here
Yeah.
who, I
Yeah.
mean, beautiful, innocent little children who deserve to have all this love
Mm-hmm.
just showered on them, unconditionally, carefree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you get now, though.
Yeah.
They get to do that now. They get to go play
Yeah.
and have carefree
Mhm.
times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I found us doing that as an adult is so fun.
Yeah.
Like even coloring or even, doing stuff with my nieces and nephews and getting to be childlike. It's like, oh, these are the things that I didn't get to do, like
And getting to cry
Mhm.
and have people care and understand you.
Mhm.
Really important, too, for them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
How many of us did that as
Oh
children?
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Wow.
All the time. We weren't allowed to cry. You
Yeah.
had to, suck it up.
Talking about family, what percentage of actual abuse is done by family? Because we always when I was younger, my mom was always like, "Be careful of the stranger. Be careful
Mhm.
of that person on the street," and
Mhm.
nothing ever happened
Mhm.
with that type of stuff. It was always
Well,
somebody
sexual
you know.
abuse.
Yeah.
Sexual abuse. We know 52% of girls raised by a stepfather are sexually abused.
Wow.
So we know that stat. We know that 1 out of 4
52.
girls is sexually abused, but it's primarily by grandfather, uncle, then father,
Wow.
then brother, then mother. That's hardly at
Yeah.
all. Boys, 1 out of 7 sexually abused in the family. Not as common,
Mm-hmm.
but it happens. And then stranger abuse, not as common,
Yeah.
but it happens.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
people don't like to.
Mhm.
It's hard for people to understand that, but of course, a lot of it is outside. We've been hearing a lot about the Jeffrey Epstein case and
Yeah.
the sex trafficking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like pet arrests.
The list.
The what?
Release the list.
Well, I can tell you who's on the list. All those rich billionaires who've been
Yeah.
funding all the politicians'
Mhm.
campaigns, and that's why it's not being let out.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
No, we all know that. We're all thinking that. We all know it.
Yeah.
And those girls, they might be 14,
Mhm.
15, 16, 17.
Mhm.
They might look more like adults. And so and in some states, I guess you can consent.
Jeez.
And these men who like that, we call them pederests. You know, they are attracted to teenagers because they can. And a lot of fathers, a lot of the fathers are molesting teenage daughters, especially stepfathers, and it's because there's a justification that, well, it's not a child, so, and that's how they, in their heads,
my
they don't think there's
gosh.
anything wrong with it because they look like a
Mhm.
woman, maybe.
Mhm.
So there's much more of that going on than you know. We don't even know the data because it doesn't get reported.
Yeah.
Aren't they using even terms like underage?
Yeah, they're
Woman
talking
or
about
something like that?
minors, an
They're not
underage.
using-
Well, we women is a 17-year-old a woman, 16-year-old woman. I don't know. When do you
Mhm.
start calling someone a woman?
Mhm.
When they have their period?
Mhm.
I mean, and then you hear this stuff about, well, in the olden days, women, girls were married off at age 12. Yeah, people died by the time they were 35.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you had to start propagating
Really?
the species earlier, Uh, but it's just, I don't know what more you want to say about that.
Mhm.
I honestly get thoroughly disgusted by that because if you put some pictures of some 16-year-old girls and 14-year-old girls up there, I mean, they're going to look at a 50-year-old man and be completely revolted and disgusted about the thought of having sex with them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these 50-year-old men think they're still hot and sexy, and they think that these young girls find them attractive and sexy, and they don't.
Come on.
I'm so.
Yeah.
I don't know what more I can say
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that, except that those girls are going to be highly traumatized as well.
Yeah.
And I know they will be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be allowed to talk. Or if they do talk about it, people will say, well, you could have left.
Mhm.
Hate that.
It's not that
Mhm.
easy
Yeah,
No.
it's easier
to
said than
report
done.
things
Mhm.
and to say things, to speak up about things.
Mhm.
It's really hard
Mhm.
unless you are trained.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember I was an intern at the free clinic, like in 79 when women's lib was hardcore, just past Roe v. Wade. We were doing our own pap smears. We were taking our bodies ourselves. We were empowered. And I remember I went to the health center at Cal State just for like a pap smear or whatever I needed, birth control pills or something back then. And I remember the doctor stood next to me and there was an assistant, an escort, right? While during that, but he was rubbing, like he had an erection and he was rubbing against me. And I said, "Excuse me, doctor, I feel your erection on my body. Would you move away?" Like I said that out loud. But that's because I was in that framework at the free clinic being like that. But how many, and I was 19. You wouldn't say I was a girl, right?
No.
But I wonder how
Voice.
many 19-year-old girls, now that I'm
Yeah.
adult, how many would speak up and say something like that?
Very,
How many
very
would you
rare.
have?
No.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about that doesn't get reported, and you sit there and freeze and don't know what to do, and it could just get on you day after day after day.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, I had a boss when I first moved here who would wrap his arm around me and would be very like handsy. And this is before I went to therapy.
Mhm.
So I didn't stand up for myself, but I did go home and tell my now husband, and he was so upset and he was ready to stand up for me.
Yeah.
And that felt nice to be like, "Hey, look,
Mhm.
somebody's standing up for you this time." He ended up being fired, but I didn't say anything, and it just because he saw me as a vulnerable person and he was predatory, like, he knew what he was
Yeah.
doing.
How did it make you feel when I shared what I said?
Shocked.
Shocked?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Sad?
Mhm. Yeah.
I felt empowered.
Mhm.
I felt like, who's got the power here now, doctor?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I felt
Yeah.
good.
Shocked
Yeah.
that he did it, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Oh,
like
I'm not
I'm
awesome
shocked
that,
that you said something.
yeah,
awesome
that
that
is-
you said
that's-
something. Like,
But
yeah.
considering where I
'Cause-
was working,
Yeah.
I was like so full
Uh-huh.
force.
Yeah.
And I remember an instructor once when I was working on my master's, I was a teaching assistant helping him out. He said, "Let's go to the pub." And so we went to the pub and had a drink.
Mhm.
And he goes, why do you always look at me when I'm lecturing? And I'm like, well, because I'm interested in what you have to say.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, I thought that you might be interested. And I said, well, what? You're thinking I want to have sex with you or something? No. Like I just spoke up like
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Mhm.
I learned how to do that by working at the free clinic
Wow.
because they were ball busters. You know, we were hardcore women's lib, right?
Yeah.
We were hardcore. And I'm lucky
Mhm.
because I was able to speak up like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it sounds shocking to you because you didn't have that kind of
Yeah.
training or
Mhm.
support to speak up like that.
Yeah.
And you're shocked. Think of how often this goes on. I could just,
Yeah.
I could give you numerous times where things have happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Damn.
You have to have the wherewithal to speak up.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's hard. It really is.
Yeah.
I had somebody in a faculty meeting. We were talking and I was told to keep track of the meeting for somebody because I know about Robert's rules. And one of the guys turned around to me and said, "Woman, be quiet."
Oh no.
Oh.
Now that I didn't have the wherewithal to say something. Honestly, I was so shocked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just
That's
sat there and went into a corner and not one person spoke up for me.
Mm.
Later on, then I
Mm.
talked to everybody and told them how upset I was by that.
Yeah.
It's like something happened to my brain.
Yeah.
I was
Like
traumatized.
froze,
I couldn't do anything. You understand? I was
Yeah.
paralyzed.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, oh yeah, you may think I have a lot of privilege because I'm white.
Mhm.
There's that gender
Mhm.
lack of privilege and, you know, and it's being
Mhm.
sexually abused. It's a female thing.
Yeah, it is.
Well, some men too.
Yeah.
Men are abused differently.
Mm-hmm.
Not that men are sexually abused, but men are more likely to be physically abused as children.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And neglect is probably the biggest form of abuse for all children.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry if I presented some shocking things.
No,
to you.
No,
please.
it's very relatable to
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
you be so empowered.
I
on
get
that
so
end.
angry by
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I get angry by
Mhm.
hearing about it
Yeah.
because it's like they don't have a right to do that.
Yeah.
And I have rights. I have civil rights as a
Mhm.
human being. I have rights to be protected, to speak up.
Mhm.
And that's what we tell children and women. You have civil rights, but
Mhm.
you have to remember in Mexico, for years, they didn't have civil rights.
Mhm.
Women and children had no civil rights.
Mhm.
Now they do.
Mhm.
Got a woman president.
Yes.
She is kicking ass.
I'm not unhappy about that.
Yeah. Yep. So, how does trauma affect our brains when an event like this happens to us?
Right. So in trauma, when you're shocked, sometimes the brain freezes.
Mhm.
So, like I was telling you, my example at the
Mhm.
doctor's, it didn't freeze.
Yeah.
I was
Mhm.
prepared.
Yeah.
And so, not every trauma causes PTSD or causes a traumatic problem in the brain.
Yeah.
When you're prepared for it and you know it and you can handle it, great.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry. You're
Mhm.
emotionally and cognitively prepared.
Yeah.
But when you're not prepared, like with the woman content,
Mhm.
I was not prepared. I
Yeah.
never thought ever that would happen to me in a professional setting
Yeah.
with my faculty.
Yeah.
And so my brain froze. Okay. We see this with when you're getting raped. Often there's that fright response. You might have heard
Mhm.
flight.
Yeah.
So that happens. Same thing happened when a child's being abused. They just fright. They freeze. They call it sometimes child abuse accommodation syndrome, where the child just allows it to happen. It seems like they're just permitting it to happen,
Mhm.
accommodating, because they don't know what else to do. They're frozen.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's a dissociative response where you actually are sitting there watching yourself and
Mhm.
having it happen to you
Yeah.
because you're in this frozen dissociative state, meaning there's a discontinuity
Mhm.
in the memory
Continuity.
storage process
Mhm.
in the brain. So the brain,
Oh.
when things happen, we store it as a memory. But during trauma, when there's this frozen, there is a frozen thing. The emotion and the cognitions are not together. So it's frozen in a limbo.
Oh.
And that's a dissociative state.
Mhm.
And that stays like that, but it can be state dependent. It can be just related to that event.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. And then there's so much associated with that event that in life, when things happen, certain things will
Oh.
trigger that exact same event
Mhm.
and you stay frozen
Yes.
in that same,
Oh
or
my
you're triggered
gosh.
Yeah.
and you're experiencing feelings and you don't know why because you didn't remember the original trauma in the first place. So you don't know why you're having this
Okay, me.
reaction.
That's exactly what happened to me. I've always something happened when I was 19. I was raped when I was 19. So I've always had that dissociation. Is that
Whoa.
how you
Yeah.
say it?
Mm-hmm.
When I was intimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now in my relationship now, and having the EMDR, the process, how I'm processing things, it opened that up because I shut that down.
Mhm.
I,
Yeah.
and at one event, we were intimate and I kind of just like dissociated
Uh-huh.
myself.
Mhm.
And I caught myself doing it a couple times and he mentioned it. And then when I brought it to the therapist and I told him, like I want to talk about it, we did an MDR session we did a few on that. And I discovered that that was the reason why I dissociated. Because and it's crazy because when I was going through the EMDR process and I was in that stage when I was like present in that event, I don't know how you call it. I could see the person and I could smell the person. It was just so crazy and so weird how it was just like it brought everything back up. Like if I was there looking at myself, it was just something so I like.
You integrated the event emotionally, cognitively, physiologically. At that moment, there's integration there.
Yeah.
And then once you're integrated, you're whole. And now it just becomes a part of who you are. And it's just there as a piece, a small little fragment of who you are. And it's in there. But it's not all of you. It's a piece of you.
Yeah. But it's just so amazing how so much we can go through, what we can take.
Resiliency.
And look at you survived it. I mean, what a wonderful thing to know. You survived something. So a violation against you. You survived a criminal act, an assault on you. You survived that. And the criminal, I don't know if he got away with it, but you had nothing to do with a criminal committing a crime against you. That was his choice to commit a crime against you, an assault on you. You survived that.
I think that's the first time I've ever said that out loud. I mean, aside from
I've never
and what an empowering, brave thing to be able to say now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody committed a crime against you.
Well, just the whole dissociation. When you said that, I'm like, it sparked.
How does it feel
what
when
it was?
How does it feel to think of it as a criminal act committed against you?
It pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me so angry because
I'm in shock. I didn't.
Yeah, I can't imagine going through what we went through as kids,
Yeah.
and then to go through it
As an adult.
Technically an adult, right? You are so strong, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that because I can't imagine having to go through that. 3 times as worse as an adult. But I'm proud of you for making that association and for working through it because that's like we're literally in shock because
I'm in shock right now too. I can't believe I said that out loud. But I'm okay. I'm
But
okay.
Something allowed you to do that.
Yeah.
Something has allowed you to do that. And you said you've worked on it in EMDR.
Yeah.
And EMDR, that's what it does. It integrates it for you. And now that's just like me sharing somebody committed identity fraud. They got my they got my ATM card at a gas station
Mhm.
and did that whole fraud thing. And I mean, I'm furious
Mhm.
that they did that. I mean, I was able to go and change cards and regain my power.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not nearly as bad as the crime of a physical assault where
Yeah.
your life is at risk. Certainly not. It's not even near that. And yet it is a violation.
Mhm.
And it's okay to say these things out loud. And not be ashamed that people commit crimes against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be pissed off, I think is normal.
Mhm.
Crime pisses me off,
Mhm.
especially crimes against me, and crimes against you really piss me off.
Mhm.
How brave of you. You said you were shocked. You want to tell her what you're shocked about?
I just didn't know like that.
Mhm.
I'm just also wondering who the hell it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nobody we knew, hopefully.
Nobody we know.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just
So
hurt that
you
somebody did that
both
to
went
her.
into shock.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Shock's a normal reaction, and possibly triggering a shock reaction inside of you as trauma survivors,
Mhm.
triggering your own shock from being traumatized. Like it triggered a sense of you being violated.
Mm-hmm.
And for a moment there, you re-experience that violation shock.
That's okay.
No,
please,
because you were
that's why
talking
we're
about
here.
Yeah.
you wanted to know about the
Mm.
physical component, what it does to your brain.
Yeah.
And this is
Don't
an
be sorry
example
ever.
about hearing that
Mhm.
can trigger you again
Mhm.
to feel your own trauma, your own shock, that feeling of shock. You resonate with her.
Yeah.
So now you know truly that at least two people
Mhm.
know exactly how you feel,
Mhm.
and you are seen and heard and felt by them right here and now. And now you're having that response of tears, knowing that they are with you and you are too. You're three together experiencing the same feeling of being victimized, violated, and sharing it with others.
Mhm.
Do you see how being together, how this is a healing process for you?
Mhm.
Feel free to be, if you want to sit in a space of feeling your emotions, I'm happy to sit with you in your emotions or speak, because anything like that is helpful to sit in your emotions or speak through those tears. All of that is part of the embracing, and that helps with the brain. It's changing your brain as we speak.
Mhm.
We know those tears right now are your body is now triggering the release of norepinephrine, which is a natural antidepressant that is surging and circulating through your neurotransmitter system, and it's helping with depression right now. You've released your own antidepressants. We know that because the tears of like this contain different neurotransmitters and chemicals than the tears of like when you're cutting an onion or getting punched in the nose. Those tears don't contain that. These tears do.
Wow. I always said that crying saved my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you talk about brain chemistry. This is all part of the brain chemistry.
Mhm.
Damn. That's crazy because I have always said that. Like, I always say that people should just cry. Like, why hold it in?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
damn.
Well, usually someone told you to hold it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were taught
Man,
that.
don't cry.
Yeah.
Or just suck it up.
Yeah, suck it up.
But Daddy, I'm only 5.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were here, Dr. Kristi,
Yes. Seriously.
because it you have created a safe space for us,
Yes.
and I know we have created our own safe space. But to hear you speak, and then I see all three of us like light bulbs going off, like, oh, that's what that is, or oh, okay, I understand. Like it just like it's like I don't know how to explain it. Like,
I love neuropsychology. So I started studying this maybe 10 years ago, the biology of psychology, and really, really appreciating that they blend together. They're not separate. There's such a blend. And I'm not a big medication person, But if someone needs it, of course. But
Yeah.
I mean, doing work like this, sometimes you don't have to
Yeah.
be on medication. If you need it, go for it. I'm all
Yeah.
for whatever's needed. But I
Mhm.
know that we can do some stuff on
Yeah.
our own without,
Yeah.
we can change like in dream work, having dreams, you change your biology. Like you are synthesizing proteins. Like that's why EMDR kind of replicates dreams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because during dreams, during the REM, rapid eye
Oh,
movement,
yes.
Mhm.
part of dreams, we know that you're synthesizing proteins. The proteins are related to memories. And when you are synthesizing proteins, you're releasing information that's unnecessary, allowing room for new thoughts to come in and replace the unnecessary stuff. So that's the synthesizing of proteins, allowing new information in, releasing stuff that isn't necessary. That's what happens in dreams. And trust me, it happens in a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops. That's how
Dang.
long dreams are.
Oh,
Sometimes I have dreams where I feel like they're
2 minutes.
just
Yeah.
forever.
2 minutes.
Dang.
And every like 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
You just don't know it because you don't wake
Yeah.
up after every dream.
Yeah.
You only remember the dreams you wake up from.
Yeah.
And so, trust me, that's how we live. That's how we survive mentally by dreams. Because when people are deprived of dreams,
What?
they can go insane. Okay. You can literally have a psychotic episode. So, yeah, they do that in those deprivation tanks, they've done studies. But EMDR is kind of replicating that. Hypnosis replicates that. Meditation can kind of replicate that. Self-care replicates a lot of this. By doing meditation for 2 minutes, you can even allow that whole protein synthesis process to happen yourself.
Oh.
And so this is why you see the healing physiologically from the EMDR. You're replicating a natural process that's built into us to take care of that we've evolved.
Incredible.
The human brain evolved since we started eating protein.
Yeah. Oh,
It made us smart
Yeah.
and developed these processes in our brains to regulate and perpetuate psychological survival, because psychological survival leads to physical survival, which
Oh my
leads to the
gosh.
propagation of the species. And so evolutionarily, this is all part of what makes us be a superior species in many ways. I hate to always claim that about humans, if you get where I'm coming from with that. I know it's a lot of mumbo jumbo about brain and
I
neurology.
love it.
I could go
No,
on
we
forever.
believe it. We believe it.
I love that. I
We're
love that
believers now.
stuff. Yeah.
We believe the mumbo jumbo. It works.
No.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, like,
Yeah.
even with like little things like that used to frustrate me. Let's say I'm trying to put something together, or like trying to put the trash bag into the. I used to get frustrated and just like yell or give up. Now I'm just like, no, you got this. Like even like the little things are
Mhm.
clicking now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool. I know. I feel like I've had like a revelation. I don't know. I had some weed that was like stronger than what I normally do, and I feel like after that I almost feel like old me died that day, and new me became a whole new person, because everything that I struggled with prior to, I'm like flying through now. Like it's, and I know it's so weird to say, like, I feel like I died that day, but I do feel like I died that day. And this new person that I become, like literally from one day to another, is like, this is who I was supposed to be. And it's just so weird that I think it's because with certain, for certain weed, I like just chill, and other weed is like I lose control and I don't like that. That was that weed that I took, and it's like I finally let go, and I'm finally becoming the person that I've always been, but just hadn't let myself be.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Candy, that is so cool.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they're using psilocybin now as part of therapy.
What's that?
What is that?
Mushrooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are using that
Yeah.
now to help actually with PTSD.
Yeah.
And it seems to be having a great effect.
Yeah.
to change it. Microdosing,
Uh-huh.
You know,
microdosing,
that kind of thing.
heard
You know,
of
they
that.
used to use MDMA, which is ecstasy,
Oh,
like
Oh,
100 years
yeah,
ago. Like
yeah.
that was a big thing to
Yeah.
use in
Didn't,
therapy.
didn't they use LSD at some
The
point too?
LSD in therapy, not so much, but the psilocybin now, I think they are using that nowadays. They've done a lot of research on it, especially with PTSD. It seems to be helpful. So what you're describing,
Yeah.
it seems to have created that back to the nascent self is what we call it.
Okay.
It's the true self.
Yeah.
And yeah, all that other stuff was a defensive self.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what it feels like.
yeah, defending against anxiety, shame. And now that you don't have that, it's kind of like dissipates a little bit, floats away. And you can just say, thanks for what you did for me. You let me survive. I got this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what that felt like. Like I didn't have the words to say it until now. Where it's like, okay, that's what that was. Like it felt like a bad trip, but it was
Oh, I remember you
very
mentioned
insightful.
that.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
dream. Like it felt like dreams.
Well,
And it was.
mhm.
I know that it was my brain finally
right.
losing control and being
Oh.
like, okay, we're good. We don't need to. My therapist always says trailheads or like my parts. My parts are very big protectors and they don't let me.
Yes.
And so it feels like that's what I explained it to her. Like it feels like I died that day and then this new person is here and finally letting myself live my life without being scared or without protecting myself from things.
Wow.
I get that. I mean, I
Yeah.
can totally, I get how that happens. That was like hypnosis. We used to do that all the time. Like,
yeah.
but anything like that helps you have a different way of viewing things. Like it's so important. It's almost mystical.
Yeah, that's
It's
what it felt
almost
like. It felt
divine.
like in Lion King when he talks to the dad, you know, when the dad's in the sky, or like in Wakanda when he goes into that mystical place and he sees his dad. That's what that felt like. Like
Oh.
I was in the realm of between spiritual and
Yes.
earth. That's what it felt like.
Can I get that weed?
It was sip.
that legal?
sip?
It was sip. Yeah. I have two different, you know, when I smoke weed and when I take sip, like, but I took a lot of it. So maybe that's why. But it just like, I let control go. Where like the first time I ever had sip is like a liquid THC.
Yeah.
It was like, I could see, I told my husband I could hear color. That's what I told him.
Yeah, it reminds me of
Yeah.
reminds me of the Carlos Castaneda series with Don Juan and Don Genaro, the Yaqui sorcerer.
Oh, I've never heard
How they
that.
used to do peyote,
Oh,
and they would have all of
Yes.
these experiences like that.
That's what that felt like.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. I think it was just I finally let myself lose control, and that's what it was. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
We're gonna have sip sessions later.
The mystical, anything mystical, divine. They've done a lot of research neurologically. Mystical, divine, dissociation, the drugs, things like that. That's what helps the brain reassort itself.
Yeah.
That's why the psilocybin's so good for PTSD. Or even hypnosis, where you're going in and you're able to reach inside and do stuff like that. It's kind of mystical and magical. It relaxes the mind. It really does.
That's
It
what it felt like.
changes things a lot. So, I mean, that makes sense to
It was
me.
about 2 weeks ago. I was trying to fall asleep and I couldn't, and I felt like my brain was I was clenching my brain. That's how bad the anxiety was. I forgot what it was from. And I went outside and smoked weed. I came back in and knocked out like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
So it does help.
I mean, even for us to be like, we smoke weed, we do weed, like that's a big deal, right? For us to admit it and not feel shame
Legal.
because of
Legal,
our family.
yeah.
Yeah.
because our family.
Well,
member.
well, you know,
family
have you ever
member.
looked at those, the sleep music on YouTube? The dark screen sleep music?
Yeah.
Those are specifically designed to go into the neurological structures of the brain and help you check out, right?
Yeah.
It does something to the brain.
frequencies, right?
Yeah, the frequencies.
Okay.
So my point is, and help with anxiety, get to sleep. We know this kind of stuff, hypnosis, all that stuff, biofeedback does have an effect. You can do that without taking, Xanax or some of these anti-anxiety agents. You can do it yourself through a variety of ways. I mean, but for some people, weed causes anxiety. So it depends on the person, right?
That's what it was before.
Not everybody responds to.
All right, it's time to get deep.
More deep, because
I know, right? Actually, it's lighter. It might be lighter.
Sorry, I couldn't bring you deeper today. Sorry, it was so superficial.
All right. If you could change jobs, would you? What would you do instead?
Yes. I would be a stay-at-home dog mom. And a professional auntie. Okay, I would be the favorite tia, because I would be like a stay-at-home dog mom, stay-at-home tia. No, but on a serious note, I definitely would change into something into community work, like just doing this podcast and even seeing like the effect Dr. Kristi has on us. It's like I want to bottle that up and be that for somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know how yet or what, but I want to do something else. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What about you guys?
Being a dog dad, stay-at-home dog dad right now. I don't want to change my career.
Okay.
But no, like on a serious note, I want to work with veterans eventually. So I guess that.
Okay, cool.
At the VA some point.
Well, like I have a choice right now. I'm a federal employee, so I'm furloughed right now.
Yeah.
So I might have to find another position. I am doing work on the side, so if anybody needs any help, please DM me. I've done HR for over 20 years, military and civilian. I can take care of dogs. I can take care of kids. I can clean. But yeah, we don't know how long it's gonna be. So if I could choose a job right now, it would definitely be something with activism. Or now that I have all this time, now I'm like, where can I start? Where can I go?
Marketing.
Where can I help?
Editing videos.
Marketing the podcast. We need one.
Yeah, you have like essentially a clean slate right now.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And it's a hard thing for me to answer because like right now, I mean, if I could, at this point in my life, man, I would love to be like a radio broadcaster, or I'd love to go on TV and be an expert or on movie sets and be an expert psychologist for movies and television shows, that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff, like Criminal Minds. I like watching that. I'd love to help talk about that kind of stuff with other people, so that's kind of. But I am going to actually go be a professional grandmother soon. So I'm going to spend a lot of time with my grandson. So that is exciting.
How fun. I'm so proud of us.
Me too. You guys did great today.
Thank you.
It takes a lot of courage to do what you did. And it's healing. What you did is healing for you and others. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I really appreciate. I feel honored and privileged that you would let me get to know you like this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, we've been holding off on this episode because we wanted to have somebody that would be here to support us and to kind of guide us through that. So
I hope I didn't shock you with my disclosures.
No.
You were a little shocked to hear some of it.
It was, but it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Dr. Kristi.
Yes.
We really
Welcome.
appreciate
My pleasure.
you.
You're a blessing.
Definitely.
And good luck to everybody in life. Be the best you. Be good humans. Be kind to others. And be the best you that you can be. Be brave. Love. Community. Share peace and love. The more you share it, the more you take it in. Give what you can. Take what you need. And be there for others. Be kind. Be focused. Be open.
Wow.
Sweet.
Love that.
Great words.
Yes.
Write it down. Say it. Make some affirmations out of that. That's a really good advice. All right, guys. So don't forget to use 211 for local resources. Next episode, we're going to be discussing racism in our own community. So make sure to tune in for that. I know. It's a hard one. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us. If you are in need of any medical assistance, please contact your local provider. If you are having thoughts of suicide, please call the National Suicide Hotline at 988. In case of emergency, call 911. See you next week as we talk about
the things we're not supposed to talk about.